I went to the back room and immediately bawled my eyes out. Looks at me and she goes, okay.
I'm annoyed. They won't put the plumbing in the wall. The boyfriend was like, it's kind of a dick move to ask why after they told you no. I don't give a shit.
Welcome to Late Night Chats and big exciting news. So I knew that I was going to want to make a video about this off the bat, but I didn't want it to be like the quintessential like let's decorate video. For those of you who are new, I moved to Indianapolis in October. I started working here as a hairstylist in November. When I moved here, I did not think I was going to be doing hair anymore. I thought for sure I was going to have to give it up. I was having a really hard time finding a place to work. I didn't know where I was going to get clients. The universe said, hey girl, I have other things in mind and you will be continuing to do hair. Somebody that I had connected with on Instagram was kind enough to offer me a space to work while I was building. I blew up on TikTok. I had a crazy wait list. I still have a crazy wait list, and it's just been a blessing from the universe. So with that being said, I knew at some point I was going to go out on my own. I've been in salon suites since 2015, but I wanted to give myself 6 months to collect data, build a clientele. I wanted to be able to compete with local rates because I dropped my prices by 46% when I moved here. Yes, I said 46%. I just wanted to do it the right way this time. Obviously, I learned a lot of lessons from the first 2 suites that I was in, and I wanted to do it the right way. When I moved into this suite and I started working with these girls, the owner of the suite said, hey, if you like this building and you want to stay here, which I immediately did. It's a very quirky building. It's very cool. I knew I wanted to be in this building. I knew it. She said, you need to put your name on the list immediately. Suites do not become available here very often. And even if you're not ready right now, you need to put your name on the list because it'll probably be a while before a suite becomes available. Well, I got the phone call yesterday. There's a suite available as of March 11th. That is 2.5 weeks from now. I went to look at it today and it's very small. Now, a lot of these suites are coffin sized and you feel like you're in a cubicle because there's a lot of them don't have windows. In this particular building, when you go down the hallway, this side has windows that look outside. The interior suites, some of them have windows that just kind of like look into the hallway, but they don't have windows that look outside. Obviously, they're interior suites. When he said it is a suite with a window, I was like, sign me the fuck up. I don't care how small it is. Let's go. So I went up there to look at it today. It is not a suite with a window that looks outside. It's just a suite with a window that looks out into the hallway. And I'm kind of bummed about that, if I'm being honest. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know if I'm going to take it. I have to let him know tomorrow what I want to do because like I said, they have a huge waiting list. So I've been weighing the pros and cons. So I'm going to talk it out with you guys here. So the pros are this place is so cheap, not like cheap in a gross way, but like affordable cheap, I guess. It would be mine. I would have more place for storage. I could come and go as I please. I don't have to worry about other girls when they're working, decorate how I want. I can adjust lighting and all of that however I want. So those are all the pros. The cons are that this does not fall into my timeline. As an ADHD person, I had a timeline of when I was looking to get a suite, and that was probably going to be about June. I wanted to pay off my car first. There is also a woman on our hallway who I currently work 4 doors down from her, and I can hear every word of her conversation. Like, I might as well be in her mouth, is how loud she is. Like, me and my clients, when I work late at night, we just sit and listen to her conversations, and we're like, what the hell is going on down there? I can hear her music. Like the other night she was playing a Justin Bieber song and it was very clear that it was a Justin Bieber song. Like we were singing along with it. You know what I mean? She's currently 4 doors down from me, and if it's any night, it doesn't matter what night of the week it is, after 5:30 p.m., that's when she gets wild. Well, this suite is directly across the hall from her. And y'all know I got a big mouth and I'm on the spectrum, and unnecessary noise, especially because we have signs in the hallway that say, shh, quiet, really bother me. That is like a heavily weighted con. Another con is that it is so small. I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to fit the amenities that I want for myself and my clients, like a mini fridge and a microwave so I can actually eat. I don't want to feel cramped and on top of myself. I like to take pictures and do videoing, so I want to make sure that I have all the space for that. Another pro is that this place has conference rooms and you get 20 conference room credits a month. So the smaller conference rooms, I could use 20 hours a month in any of those conference rooms. The bigger ones, I could use 10 hours a month in any of those conference rooms. So I could do a class, I could film a podcast, I could film a YouTube video. Very cool. And I do want to say that I think that the pros outweigh the cons, but some of those cons are really heavy, like I was saying about the woman who's like super loud. So that's where I'm at with this. I'm shocked that this even came up as a possibility this early on, because I literally put my name on the list like 2 weeks ago, and I have to let him know tomorrow what I'm doing. So instead of making the quintessential like, oh hey, I got a salon suite, let's go shopping, let's decorate, I wanted to kind of treat this like a diary and like share my thoughts with you guys, because this will be the third salon suite that I've had. The first time I had a 110 square foot salon suite. I am starting over, and I started in a very small space, and since I'm starting over again, I feel like, I know I'm not ready for a bigger one. Would I love the space? Of course, but financially I'm not ready for a bigger one. I'm kind of like trying to talk myself out of being so fucking bougie about it and just take what I'm given, especially because if another one does come available that has a window or is a corner unit, I might get first dibs because I am already in the building. So the other pro about this, which I can't even believe I didn't say this at first, and those of you who have ever had a salon suite will totally know how big of a deal this is, there's no term lease. Like, I'm not signing a 12-month lease, and if I decide in 2 months I can't hack it, I have to pay the rest of none of that. Literally no term lease. There is a lease, but it only states that I have to give 60 days notice. So essentially, I will only owe 2 months of rent. The upfront cost for this is about $2,000. I do have to buy my own sink, have to pay to have it installed, have to pay to have it uninstalled. I can't paint, they have to paint. And there's a couple of other fees, which are normal. Like if you ever live in an apartment, it's like all normal stuff. I guess we're going to find out tomorrow what I'm going to do. Stay tuned. For me, it'll be tomorrow. For you, it'll be in like 5 seconds.
3 days later.
So for you, it's been about 5 seconds. For me, it's been a couple days and a whole lot of drama. So let me tell you what happened. Yesterday, I was telling you about the options that were presented to me if I wanted to take this suite. So the next day I'm on my way to work and the building manager calls me. He's like, hey, are you still interested? I was like, funny enough, I am on my way to the salon right now. And I was going to tell you when I got there that yes, I want to take it. I want to take it. And he's like, perfect. I just need some information from you. I said, okay, well, when I get there, my client's going to be there. So let me come down while she's processing. He said, no problem. I'm here till 5. I'm upstairs. I'm foiling my life away, and I hear gospel music. And it sounds like I am in church with these people standing directly next to God. So I was like, you know what? This is a common occurrence on this hallway. I said, let me just pop my head around the corner. Maybe they don't realize their music is so loud. I go down to the suite, and on my way down there, I am looking at the suite that I am potentially taking to see where it is, like, and where she is, because that's where most of the noise comes from most of the time. It is directly across the hall from her. It is like this from her. So I stick my head around her door frame and I'm like, hey, I was like, that's really loud. I was like, I can hear it all the way down the hall. We're trying to work. She looks at me and she goes, okay, roger that. So I go back to my suite and I keep working. 5 minutes later, she stomps down the hallway looking for me, finds me, sees what suite I'm in, and then goes back to her suite. This will make sense in a minute. I'm like, okay, weird. So 4:30 rolls around. I wrap up the balayaging. My client is processing. She has a shit ton of hair. And I go down and I talk to the building manager and I'm like, hey, I decided I'm not going to take the suite. I said, I just got into an altercation with the girl across the hall. I was like, it was very minimal altercation. I said, but she's just too loud. I said, I cannot work across the hall from her. I said, it's just too loud. And he's like, really? That's the determining factor? Disappointed dad and attitude and everything. And I was like, yes, really. I brought that up to you yesterday when you took me on the tour and you went into this spiel about how he makes the temperature in the building fair for everyone. So I said, yes, that's a determining factor. Didn't get to tell him that I film content, that I have auditory processing issues, nothing. Then his phone starts ringing. He's like, I have to take this call. I'll come up and talk to you. I said, okay, cool. He comes up, doesn't talk to me because I'm with a client and I have not talked to this man since. My client is continuing to process and I get a text message from the owner of the suite that I currently work in. And she's like, I need you to call me. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Mind you, when I came upstairs from telling this man that I wasn't going to take the suite, I went to the back room and immediately bawled my eyes out because I was so pissed that I'm losing this opportunity to take this suite and be in a building that I really like and be down the hall from my friends, which are the people that I currently am working with, all because someone just can't keep their music down. I just was overwhelmed, honestly. I step outside and I call the owner of the suite and she's like, I got a message from the girl in the suite who I asked to turn her music down. And she's like, you cannot go and ask someone to turn their music down. You have to go through the building manager. Now, I was unaware of these rules. And I think it's pretty fucking stupid that we can't talk to each other like adults and just be like, hey, music's a little loud. You know, compromise with your neighbors and all that shit. Make it work for everybody. So I was like, I was unaware of that. And apparently the girl who I asked to turn her music down told the suite owner that I marched into her room and started screaming at her to turn her music down, which is not the fucking case at all. I know I look abrasive and I look aggressive and I act aggressive online. That is not what fucking happened. So that bitch straight up lied. I was like, fun. I love this for me. So she's like, I also got a email from the building manager about the situation, and I guess there was something else that had gone on. And she's like, everything falls back on me because I'm the leaseholder and I just need you to, go through the right channels. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And I was telling her about how frustrated I was because here's where my head was at in this moment. First of all, I was afraid of retaliation. I was afraid I told him, I said, this is not my first rodeo. I've been in a suite before. I know that salon noise is going to happen. You're going to hear clients talking. You're going to hear stylists talking over the blow dryer. I understand all of that and I'm fine with all of that, but this was excessive. This was different. I told him, I said, I'd like to stay on the list for if another suite becomes available. I really like the building. I'd like to stay in the building. So I was telling her, I said, I just am afraid that he's gonna take me off the list and he's not gonna call me if a suite becomes available. I told her that I was frustrated by the situation because it really seemed like she was telling me that girl has been in the building for a very, very long time. And I said, okay, so me as a new business, as somebody who wants to give you my money, you don't give a fuck about that because it makes her unhappy because she can't play her music as loud as she wants. That seems crazy to me, but I digress. So she's like, everything's handled. It's fine. She's like, you just have to go through the proper channels from now on. And I was telling her, I said, I don't want you to feel like I'm taking advantage of you if I don't take this suite. I said, I just can't handle the noise. I film content. I cannot have that. I already have videos right now where I currently work 5 doors down from this person. And you can hear them on my videos when I'm wearing hot mics. That's a fucking problem. No matter which way you slice and dice that is a problem. And she's like, I get it. She's like, everything's fine. Everything's handled. You just have to go through the proper channels. I was like, okay, bet. The next morning she sends me a text message and she is like, I got follow-up emails from the salon building manager, whatever. Basically, he told her that I'm not a good fit for the building and I would be better suited to be at one of their other properties where it is quieter. Now, if it's quieter, cool. I get it. However, I feel like I was victimized. I feel like I was victimized for asking someone to turn their fucking music down and be respectful to the people around them. And that is what is fucking crazy to me. I understand that I cuss when I talk, and apparently that has a lot of shock value to the building manager. You can't handle that. But here's what fucks me up. If I was a man, I would be advocating for myself. I wouldn't be aggressive. I wouldn't be problematic. I would be assertive and I would be saying, this is what I need. But because I'm a woman and I look the way that I look, I'm problematic, I'm not a good fit, all these different things. And I'm like, you know what? This is the most insane thing. I was worried about working in Carmel simply because I didn't think that the type of hair that I do would do well there. And it does do well. People come from all over and that's great, which is the unique proposition that I'm in because I can do this anywhere in any city in Indiana if I wanted to. Maybe I'm not a good fit for the building because of the way some of those people look at me in that building, i.e. some of the clients, and because of the way that I've been treated by the management. You're right. I'm not a good fucking fit. And I wouldn't want to fit with you anyway. And to the girl in the suite, calm the fuck down. It was so overly dramatic for absolutely no reason at all. I simply asked you to turn your music down like an adult and you handled it like a child. If there's rules in place where you have to talk to the building manager and put all noise complaints through them, great. Maybe it keeps people from being catty like this. If that works, it works. I didn't know that. And again, this is my 3rd suite. I'm used to going to my neighbor and being like, hey girl, your music's a little too loud. Or somebody coming to me and being like, hey, you're being a little loud. My bad. Got it. I'll turn it down. So this morning I went and I toured the Fort Harrison property, the more quiet one. They had 3 suites available and one of them is now mine. So I will be moving over there. I'll finish out this next week in the suites I'm currently in and then I'm out. When things like this happen to me, I'm very fight or flight. I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be around these people. I don't want to deal with it. I shouldn't have to. And honestly, being treated the way I was treated, no, I'm good. So I went over to this building. It's just as quirky. It's just as fun. The lease terms are all the same. The suite is cute. It is much quieter. The doors are thicker. And he was right to maybe suggest that. But to be like, you're not a good fit for this building, that shit seems a little fucking weird to me. I'm so mad about the whole situation, and I don't like that I was villainized for asking someone to turn their music down. Overall, I like it better. The building's newer, it's fresher, everything is good. So now I'm in this like mad dash to get a shampoo bowl and get all the things that I need. So I'm gonna take you on that journey with me. Also, the other great thing about this is 9 minutes down the road from me. So it's a lot closer for me. And as far as the suite owner goes, that's like letting me work in her suite, she's a fucking doll. We love her. There's nothing wrong with her. She's doing everything she can to keep everybody happy. She did not have to give me a place to work, and she did it out of the kindness of her heart to help me build and be successful when I moved here. I have no qualms with her. She's a doll. I will continue to talk to her, help her with her classes, go visit her, whatever. We love her.
Editing Crystal, and there's a couple of things that I wanted to add into this video that I didn't quite get in there during my rant. The building manager was shook because he's never had a noise complaint on this hallway before. Just because the complaints have never come through does not mean that the noise is not a problem. There might be people who just deal with it because they don't want to deal with putting in a noise complaint. That man did not look at me, speak to me, make eye contact with me, or even breathe in my direction. And I was in that building for another month and a half after this happened. So how are all noise complaints and any confrontational matters supposed to go through the building manager, but the building manager can't even handle the slightest amount of confrontation? I think that wait list is bullshit. I think they create some sort of like demand or whatever. And I understand that like people don't move out of that building very often. Therefore, the suites don't become available very often. I get that part of it. But when I told him I wasn't going to take the suite, he visibly looked angry. Like he visibly looked disappointed and let down and did the whole dad thing, but also freaking out because he needed to get someone in that suite. I remember seeing even a week and some change later, him taking somebody on a tour because he couldn't fill the spot. So clearly they're not that in demand, and that's just what it looks like to me. What do I know? You know what I mean? I also wanted to talk about the stress of this whole thing. A lot of the stress for me for this was that I didn't want the salon owner to feel like I was taking advantage of her because I had a perfectly good opportunity to take a suite and I turned it down. Then I was told about another building where I could go also take a suite, and if I didn't take that, then it would look like I was kind of taking advantage of her. And then also in the video I talked about being very fight or flight, so like even though I may not have been ready and this wasn't part of my timeline, I immediately felt like I had to get the fuck out of there. I was also thinking about it too. If I hadn't been working in that building for 4 or 5 months and knew how loud that girl down the hall was, and I just came in there one day, I was told there was a suite available. I looked at it and I took it only to find out how loud she is. I would be fucking pissed. I would be pissed, honestly. Whoever works across the hall from her now, I feel bad for her. I truly do, because I don't even think it's just her. So it's the girl that I had the altercation with, but there's also another girl next to her who is also loud, but she only comes in at night and she's not there every day. So when the two of them are there at the same time, it gets pretty fucking crazy. And I don't know if they're trying to outdo each other as far as noise goes. So the whole stress of it made me very much feel like, okay, well, I have to go find a suite now. Like, I can't stay here. After being told you're not a good fit for the suite, you kind of feel like it's time to get the fuck out of here. It kind of feels like they want you out. And I know the salon owner was just sharing the information with me and letting me know, but that also kind of felt like, hey, you're causing problems with my lease now. Like, I need you to leave. I kind of wish that if that was the case, it would have just been said that way. I don't know. But I wanted to add those couple of things in there because my new building has a female building manager and it's so much better. The communication is tough. Went and talked to the maintenance guy about the space that I got. I'm annoyed. There's some situations with electricity. Basically what they told me is that the suite has 40 amps of power. They have different colored outlets. The gray ones are on different breakers or something, but the gray one basically has the most power. You get 20 amps out of just that gray outlet. The rest of the white outlets throughout the room pick up the other 20. He said, so we recommend that you plug your curling irons, blow dryers into this gray outlet. The gray outlet is directly next to the plumbing. The wall that the gray outlet is on is 7 feet
from the corner of the wall to the door because it's on the same wall as the door. My shampoo bowl sink setup is 3.5 feet. There is no station fitting on that wall. He also said extension cords are a no-go. I would have to put my station on the wall right next to it, but I was also asking him to put in a bar sink. So for the bar sink, he would have to run plumbing from that wall that the shampoo bowl is on and run it to, he can run it around the room, but the further away from the plumbing it gets, like the in-wall plumbing, the more expensive it gets. I was gonna put it on the wall next to shampoo bowl as close as I possibly could, so, you know, it wouldn't be an astronomical amount, but also they won't put the plumbing in the wall. So the plumbing will be exposed outside of the wall, so the closer I put it to the shampoo bowl, the more I can cover it up. The other thing is, you guys know I love my pictures, you know I love my content. There are no light switches in this room. When you open the door, it's automatic lights, they automatically come on, which is nice, but I can't turn them off. So if I'm trying to take pictures, I can't turn them off. I had said something about wanting to do a photography light, like up high. Like, oh yeah, we can wire you like a cord or something into the overhead light. That way you can have like up high, whatever. Okay, cool, all good. I asked, I said, can we do a remote control? Can we wire a remote control to the overhead light so I can turn it on and off whenever I need to? Nope, can't do that. Why? Why? If you can wire other things into it, why? She said it was against building code, so I asked why. My boyfriend was like, it's kind of a dick move to ask why after they told you no. I don't give a shit. You told me you could do this, why can't you do this? They're essentially the same thing. And I put it in ChatGPT, and even ChatGPT was like, it's essentially the same thing. Also, the wallpaper that I wanted is $600 on sale. It's $590 on sale. So I gave up that dream. I think my salon is going to end up being very pink. I think that's it. And honestly, he had said we don't allow peel and stick wallpaper because it has the potential to tear up the wall. He was like, we're not going to evict you if you put it up, but obviously you're going to have to pay for it if it does tear up the wall. And I was like, yeah, I got it. So the tapestries that I'm doing, I am going to do like a tutorial. I'll probably put it on TikTok, but they're hung up with 3M strips. I have used them as like faux wallpaper in my old apartment. I have them now currently in the apartment we're in. They're a lot more renter friendly, whatever. So I'll show you guys how to do that. And I think that's all of the issues. Basically what it boils down to is, one, I've already signed a lease. Two, I really wish that the electricity, plumbing, and light switch information would have been given to me on my tour because it may have impacted my decision. There were 3 suites available that I did tour, and had he given me that information when we looked at each suite separately, I would have been able to determine, oh, I want this one, I'll take a smaller space because the plumbing's set up better. And here's my other thing, and I'm not trying to be shitty about it because these are office spaces. Like, this is an office building, but if you're going to advertise it for salon suites, it has got to be set up so that salon owners can use it, and not set up so that you nickel and dime us to death to move electricity, blah, 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 plumbing, because they already require that they do the plumbing install, they do the plumbing uninstall, like they remove your shampoo bowl when you leave, that they paint. So you're paying them for all of these things. And as cheap as my rent is monthly, I'm fine with that because my time is worth a lot of money. So I would much rather pay someone else to do the things I don't want to do. But I just wish the setup was like a little bit more feng shui, like a little bit more adaptable to like a hairdresser salon space. So that's what's going on. I will keep you guys updated on what she says about the emails, and